Subscribe to my channel before we dive in. I never worried when Claire said she was going out with friends. We'd been married 7 years, and trust was a quiet pulse that kept our home intact. Lately, though, that pulse had started to skip. She laughed too loudly at her phone, shielded her screen when I walked by, and seemed distracted whenever I spoke. I told myself it was just stress, maybe work. But deep down, something whispered that I no longer belonged in her world. When she mentioned the girls' night out, her words felt rehearsed, like a line she practiced. "Just wine and dancing," she said, pressing a quick kiss to my cheek. I smiled back, pretending not to notice the stronger perfume or the fact that she'd changed her earrings twice before leaving. After she walked out, the house felt heavier than silence. I sat on the couch, staring at the muted TV, trying to convince myself everything was fine, but unease spread through me like smoke. I wasn't angry yet, just tired of guessing what I meant to the woman I loved. I didn't follow her. That's not who I am. Yet life has a way of revealing the truth when you stop searching for it. Around midnight, my friend Aaron texted me a photo from a downtown bar. "Isn't this Claire?" he wrote. In the picture, she wasn't alone. A man's hand rested on her back, too familiar to be casual. She laughed, head tilted, eyes bright, the same laughter I once thought was mine alone. My first instinct was disbelief. Maybe it was a bad angle, a joke, a misunderstanding. But denial only lasts until the truth settles in. Something inside me broke then, quiet and final, like a door closing that could never be opened again. When she came home, it was nearly 2 a.m. Her lipstick had faded, but her guilt hadn't. She looked at me as if I were supposed to be asleep. "You're still up?" she asked carefully. I nodded. "Did you have fun?" she tried, smiling too quickly. "Yeah, just the girls," she said. I held her gaze. I know. That's when I decided my payback wouldn't be anger or vengeance. It would be clarity, the kind that leaves no room for lies. The next morning, I acted normal, made breakfast, kissed her forehead, went to work. At lunch, I stopped by the bank. Every joint account we had, I moved half to a new one in my name. I canceled the credit card she mostly used. I scheduled a meeting with a lawyer, not to start a war, but to understand my options. When I got home, I placed a printed photo on the kitchen table. Nothing else. Just that single page waiting for her to find. That evening, she came home early. I was in the living room when I heard her gasp. She picked up the photo and froze. "Where did you get this?" "A friend," I said quietly. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. "Then tell me what it is." I pressed. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again, but no truth came out, only silence. In that moment, the pain shifted. It wasn't sharp anymore. It felt clean, like air after a storm. I realized I hadn't lost her that night. I had already lost her months ago, when laughter became secrets. She started to cry, saying she'd had too much to drink, that nothing had happened. Maybe she believed it. Maybe she didn't. By then, it didn't matter. Betrayal doesn't always begin in a hotel room. Sometimes it starts with a lie meant to keep the evening comfortable. I told her I needed space and packed a bag. She followed me to the door, pleading, promising, swearing it meant nothing. I listened. Then I said, "You went out to feel free. I'm giving you that freedom for real." For the next week, I stayed with Aaron. I didn't text, didn't call. The silence became its own kind of answer. On the 5th day, I returned home to pick up more clothes. The house looked different, tidy, polished, as if she could scrub away the past. She sat at the same table where the photo had been. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "So, did I?" I said. "I believe we were still us." She tried to explain that she felt invisible, that the night out was a foolish attempt to feel wanted. I understood loneliness, but it didn't excuse the lie. I told her I wasn't angry, just done pretending we were fine. That was my payback. Not revenge, not cruelty, just walking away with the dignity she'd forgotten I had. Months passed. I focused on work, ran again, reconnected with friends lost or distant. Every now and then I received short, regretful messages from Claire. "I miss you. I wish I'd stayed home that night." I never replied. Some conversations, and even before the words were spoken. One evening, while jogging through the park, I saw a couple laughing by the fountain. The way she looked at him, open, genuine, unguarded, reminded me of how Claire once looked at me. For a moment, sadness tried to settle in, but it didn't last. Instead, I felt grateful. Pain had stripped away illusions and left something purer, self-respect. Later that night, I sat on my porch, watching city lights flicker. I realized payback isn't about making someone hurt. It's about refusing to carry their choices on your shoulders anymore. Claire regretted that night, not because of what she lost, but because she finally saw what she'd thrown away. I didn't need to remind her. Regret has a louder voice than revenge ever could. I closed my eyes and let the cool air wash over me. Somewhere, she was replaying that night, wishing she could rewrite it. But some stories end the moment someone decides they deserve better. And that's okay. Sometimes the most powerful payback is simply peace.